नमे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम अवाप्तव्यम वर्त एव च कर्मणि. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I have no duty whatsoever in all the three worlds, in all the three times, but yet I perform my actions for the sake of the betterment of the world. I have nothing to gain, nothing to lose, nothing to achieve, and there is nothing that I have not already achieved. Yet I perform my duties, or I do what I do for the sake of the betterment of everyone. Sarva loka hite rataha, engaged in the welfare of all. That is the way of Lord Krishna, and so also should be the way of the devotees of Bhagavan. Because what God does, that is what the devotee is supposed to do. And that is the only way we worship the divine in the true way. Today also happens to be the Mother's Day. They all were telling Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. And truly there is only one true mother, Jaganmata, the mother of all beings. And our Brahma Kita Janani, she is the mother of the Brahma, the ultimate creator, and also of the smallest insect that crawls this earth. There is only one mother, that is the divine mother. So when we really celebrate Mother's Day, we celebrate divinity. And as it is said, God could not be everywhere, so he created mothers, so that they could show that love that God possesses. And the purest form of that love comes from a mother. And after that comes the father and things like that, but all other relatives. But the first expression of that divine love is seen in a mother. And so everybody kept on saying Mother's Day. It should not be only celebrated on this day, it should be celebrated all your life, because of the love and compassion, because of the kindness and sacrifice of the mother physical as well as the divine. That is why we are here, that is how we are here. So gratitude should be there in our hearts. That is the most important thing. And also today happens to be Adi Shankaracharya. And as Narasimha Murthy ji has said in such great details about the philosophy of Adi Shankara, why it is so important for our country and for the whole world, and how it was promoted, propagated, and spread to the whole world by various other masters. And one of the shining examples is that of Swami Vivekananda, who just did not talk about it in Sanskrit, but he spoke about it in English and took it to beyond the borders of this country, to the US and everywhere. And that was his great contribution. And what I am trying to do is to teach everybody how can we practice this philosophy in our real life. When we say all are one, all are ours, it's good to hear, it's nice to understand, nice to know. But how do I practice it? By practicing this idea of love and service to everyone. Because when everybody is yours, you ought to love everybody. And you love everybody, it's natural for you to serve everybody. And that's how we consider everybody as our own, a family, a world family. That is the teaching that we are spreading. But it is born out of the same idea of Adi Shankaracharya. Is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. That is the essence of all his message. He himself says, Shloka Dena Pravakshyami Yadoktam Gantakotivihi Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The essence of all the crores of scriptures, I shall tell you in just half a shloka, half a verse. And that is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Brahma Satyam, God alone is the truth. God alone exists in everything, in every form, in every name, in every way. It's God and God alone who exists. And everything else is an illusion. It looks like it exists, but it is just God modified in another form. That is how Adi Shankara puts it. Bangle is also gold, chain is also gold, ring is also gold. But the truth is that none of these exist without gold. It's gold modified into various forms, and that is why he said God alone exists in everything. Everything else is an illusion from that point of view. So the bangle itself is gold, he's saying. Jiva itself is Brahma. Jiva is all of us, the manifestation of that one divinity. And Brahman is this collective manifestation. So the idea of one world, one family emanates from the idea that we are all born of the same mother, same father. The Brahma, the Jaganmata, Jagatpita, one origin of all of us makes us a part of one family. When are you a family? When you have the same origins. You are born of the same father or mother, or same grandfather or grandmother, or great-great-grandfather, and so on. So if you trace yourself all the way back to the origin of where you came from God. He is the father, he is the mother, and therefore we are a family. That is the idea of fatherhood of God, brotherhood of man. That is the idea of the origination of us. And therefore we are one family. But that idea is the same as Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. These divisions are illusory. The original source of it all is one. And therefore, while we look like different bangles and chains and rings, we essentially are one gold. Likewise, we are men, women, rich, old, Indian, foreign, all kinds. But in the essence of it all, at the end of all, we are just one divine principle manifesting in so many forms. It is very simple to understand. This is the essence of Sanatana Dharma. But it's very difficult to practice. And people ask me, how do we practice this? And I tell them, start with loving and serving everybody. And slowly you will reach that state of understanding and experience of oneness. Many people try many paths. As I was traveling around the world, a lot of people ask a lot of questions about spirituality and service. And I tell them both are the two sides of the same coin. Without one side, the coin will be counterfeit. If service is there and spirituality is not there, that is the right attitude is not there, it's no point. And if spirituality, so to say, is there, but there is no manifestation of it as service to all beings, that spirituality is of no use. So it is manifesting together, it is together, it can never be separated, like inseparable twins, they say. Spirituality and service are like that. So Adi Shankaracharya talk about that spirituality, and I talk about manifesting that spirituality into service of all. It's very simple, that's all we need to do. So start from one side, you will reach the other, it's a circle. Start from serving everybody, you will end up in that spiritual experience of oneness. Or experience the spiritual oneness and you will gradually or naturally end up serving all beings. Now why should Adi Shankaracharya walk on his foot all the way to Himalayas on one side, Dwarka, the other side, Puri, and to Karnataka here? In those days it was very difficult. I am at least flying by, whatever, the planes. And poor Adi Shankara had to walk all the way. And that is how he built his mission. He established centers in 4 corners of this country. And he had only 4 disciples, worthy disciples whom he could put over there. Each one in one place. And told them, at Jyotirmat you stay, at Dwarka you stay, at Puri you stay, at Sringeri you stay. And that's it. He had 4 people. With this he started the mission, and look at it, what it has done 1,000 years later. In every home, in every part of the world, this message is reverberating today. That there is only one, no two, Advaita. That is the idea that is so powerful of our scriptures that Adi Shankaracharya worked so hard to bring it to life. And then as he mentioned, Swami Vivekananda, I believe he traveled for months in the lower half of the ship, in the sense where the grade 4 or class 4 people travel. He traveled there all the way because one king sponsored his travel, and that's all he could pay for the travel. And he traveled for months to reach the US. And he was treated quite badly because Indians were not very respected at that point in time. We were under a colonial rule. Obviously, when you are a slave or under somebody's rule, you are not respected. When you are the master, you are respected. But he stood there, spoke his mind out, talked about our scriptural truths, and he mesmerized the audience. He changed the way people looked at India. He gave a very different perspective of India. The richness, the wealth, the heritage of spirituality is what he portrayed, not the poverty and the colonial problems and religious conflicts. He kept that aside and talked about that one idea of oneness. In that you can unite the world. What a wonderful idea for those times, that time when world wars had not started. But that is the time when he went and spoke about these wonderful ideas. And he traveled by a ship for months by sea just to spread this message. That was his message. And then Bhagavan's message of love all, serve all. Most practical message of spirituality. There cannot be anything more practical than this. And again, so much of it lies in what we do with our lives. Following a master is not just about putting a photo and garland and worshipping and reading what he said and going on talking about it. No, it's all about practice. This is what I told in Fiji. 24th April, Mahasamadhi Day as we call it. I told every year I come to Fiji only to initiate another work, another activity, another seva, because that is the way we want to celebrate those moments. We don't want to sit and moan or put a picture and sing songs and recollect and remind ourselves of the wonderful time that we had. All that is past. What are you doing in the present? How will you build the future? That is the question we must ask. Even today people talk about India. Oh, it was a glorious country, Sone ki chidiya, and it had such a beautiful past. Nobody has documented, nobody respects us for all that we have given to the world. But how much ever we cry about the past, it's not going to get us glory in the present. What we do today is what is going to glorify you and your country. That is why today is important, this present is important. What we do with our learnings of the past in the present is what makes the future. And so we are practicing Sanatana Dharma in the truest essence. We are not just talking about it, not just preaching it, but we are practicing it. That is why when we travel around the world and we speak about this spiritual idea of oneness, at the same time demonstrate it happening through schools and hospitals and nutrition and so many other service activities, this idea carries a lot of weight. People listen, they sit up and listen. And they have very different expectations. This time we met a lot of new people, and they all thought some Guruji is coming from India. And typically in all these Western countries, the Guru's idea is some old bearded man with, a long face and a lot of, whatever the personality of the Gurus that we know of. And, a lot of weight around him. And then he will talk about all these highest philosophies and bore us all to sleep. That is what most of the people expected. But then they had a very shocking experience when they saw he doesn't talk so much about the scriptures and all those ideas, but he's talking about how to practice this on a daily basis in our lives. What does that scriptural truth mean to us when we live everyday life? And that is what, in a way, impressed them. That is what touched their hearts. Okay, so Sanatana Dharma can be manifested as free schools. Sanatana Dharma can be manifested as hospitals for the poor and for the sick and for the needy. And you can do so many other things which is simply practical expression of Sanatana Dharma. This is what people of Sanatana Dharma were very happy about. This is what India stood for. Loving each other, serving each other, because we are all divine. We are all parts of the same whole. That is why we love and serve each other. This idea is so powerful. And I believe that this is the only idea which can change the world. Nothing else will work. No political idea, no revolutionary ideas, no capitalisms, no isms whatsoever. Nothing can change the world at this point of time. This one idea that we are one whole, one family. And therefore we must love and care for each other. We must not fight each other. We must share with each other and ultimately realize that oneness in our heart. In our hearts, that we are just one divine principle. This is the only solution to the problems of the world. There is nothing else that can solve this problem. I'm traveling, people ask me questions about what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Gaza Strip, what's happening here, what's happening there, what is the solution? How are we going to solve the problem? Will there be a third world war? That's the next thing. Will there be a nuclear war? They keep asking me these questions. And I tell them the answer is, it depends on you and me. Whether there will be another war, whether these conflicts will continue forever, whether innocent people will die for no reason. All this depends on you and me. Whether we follow this principle. And we start practicing it, it will spread. And good spreads faster than bad, if we commit to it. And this is what we are committed to. So around the world when I travel, I talk about these institutions, I talk about our Sanatana Dharma, I talk about these principles taught by Adi Shankaracharya, who is very close to my heart, because I resonate with this because he was a young man like you, all of us, and walked hours and hours, days and nights, braving the cold and the heat and whatever the situations had to offer. He braved it all in a short span of 32 years and gave the world the distilled essence of Sanatana Dharma as Advaita philosophy, and went about establishing centers. Had he just did nothing, just spoke about it and died, it would have never got propagated. He established centers. He created a mission, put people in charge of it, and made them further the mission. And that is why we also work with Sringeri Sharada Peetham, because that's the unbroken lineage of Adi Shankaracharya. From the very first guru that he put over there, Mandana Mishra, who became his disciple, Sureshwara. From there to now, the seat has never been empty. In the sense, there is a guru always there to guide. Whereas in the other places, because of invasions and attacks and so many other issues, there were times when there was nobody in charge of the place. But Sringeri in Karnataka has always been there. Somebody has been there to guide the people. And that's why I have that personal affiliation and a lot of affection for Sringeri. And that's why we brought this Swamiji also here, just to celebrate this idea that this Peetam has been there and it is continuing to propagate that message. So we have that Adi Shankaracharya statue here in the Shankara Vanam. I hope you all have had a darshan of it. It is simply to reinstate that this is the man who did it all. When nation was reeling under the pressure of all kinds of philosophies and ideologies. Now, colonial problems were of lesser problems actually to me. They were problems related to our wealth and prosperity or progress. But the problems with religious invasions were worse. Because they were wiping away the very idea of oneness. They were telling, somebody came and told, there is one God, He is only our God, is the only God. No other redemption for you if you don't follow our God. Somebody else came and said, there is no God only. There is no God. Shunyam at the end, nothing exists. This is all it is. Somebody came, there is no rebirth, there is no karma that way. Somebody comes and says, no, there is a rebirth and you are bound by action. People came and said so many things to so many people in so many ways. But Adi Shankaracharya came and told the truth, and it is to his credit. So therefore, I am never shy in speaking about Adi Shankaracharya and his contribution to not just to Indian philosophy, but to the whole world. And that is what we are also teaching. And when we talk about Advaita, we also talk about this idea. We must feel that Advaita in our hearts, not as some meditative experience of some mystical things, but simply practical experience of love and compassion in everyday life. By serving and loving others, that is how we feel Advaita. This is our way of presenting Advaita to the world. And it works. People believe, people understand this better. So yes, while you do Dhyana Marga, while you do all kinds of margas, most important is this marga of seva. This idea of serving has jnana in it, karma in it, bhakti in it, everything bundled together. When you serve somebody in the name of the divine, thinking they are also divine. So this is our path, and I'm very happy to see that children have learned these compositions of Adi Shankaracharya. We started with Nirvana Shatakam, which is chanted every day here. Very deep, even one verse you get it right, you will get everything right, all philosophy right. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. He says, my true identity is I am divine. I am nothing less than divine. Everything else is not truly me. There are superimpositions on me. I am truly divine. It's so clear. Nobody dares to say such things other than somebody who has realized it. That is how Adi Shankara taught us and made it so simple. So that is one thing that I really wanted to talk about, and I enjoy when children chant this. I know most of them won't understand it experientially, but theoretically at least they know that something like this exists in our country. That itself is a big thing for me right now. No education system is teaching this. In the midst of all the whatever secularism and what is said, all this jingoism of nationality and religion, here is one institution which bravely, boldly and loudly talks about this philosophy. Nobody can stop us from that. And not just talks about it, practices it. Whichever religion the person comes to in our hospital, we don't turn them away. Or which religion are you from? Do you believe in us? Will you start believing in us after the surgery? No questions asked like this. Everybody is welcome. If you need us, you deserve us. Simple as that. This is oneness. This is the philosophy. When we give student scholarships, we are not asking whether you are a meritorious student, you belong to this particular caste or that particular religion. Anybody and everybody who needs an education deserves an education, period. No questions asked beyond that, because we believe in oneness of all. Our institution program serves millions of children. Nobody is asked any questions. What's your surname? What's your caste? What's your father's profession? Nothing. All are ours. So also when I travel around the world and we meet people and talk to them, we don't ask these stupid questions of what religion are you from, what kind of caste that you belong to. And we don't even worry about what was our past, whether you come from the colonial times or not, doesn't matter. We embrace everybody still. Yet we should be completely aware. Why do we embrace them all as ours? Because we believe in this oneness of divinity. That is the fundamental principle. Our compassion, our kindness springs from this idea, stems from this idea that we are all one in divinity. And when we serve everyone, we serve the divine. That's the true purpose of our life. There is no other purpose than serving the divine. Following the divine, that is our purpose. So that is how we are manifesting all these things. And I talk about all you people to the world, and I invite them to come to Mudenahalli. And you will see in times to come a lot of people, all kinds of people from all parts of the world, religious people, industrialists, philanthropists, political leaders, all kinds of people will come to Mudenahalli. because I call Mudenahalli as the working model of my teachings. So they have to come and see the working model. How does it work? This is the prototype. They have to come and see. And what is the prototype? Not just the buildings, nice looking buildings, and not just the work that happens. It's people here. The transformed people is what they have to see. And through you, they should realize that yes, this is truly a working model of spirituality and service. Service, of course, we see everywhere. I want to ensure that each one of you also manifests that spiritual love and kindness in you, that spiritual discipline, that spiritual character in you. When people come and see you, they should see that this philosophy is truly working over here. Not to demean or underrate somebody, but I have seen institutions which talk about oneness of all and Advaita and things like that. At the same time, there is so much of discrimination there. You are not of this caste, you watch me from a distance, that's it. You are of this caste, you are welcome on 1 meter. Rest all 100 meters. I've seen all this. Even in those institutions which claim to have been following Sanatan Dharma, discrimination exists, distances exist. In our institution alone, there is nothing like that. And this is what I tell proudly and tell people, come and see what's happening here. And you will see that this idea of India truly, truly lives here. India lives in Mudenahalli, Indian philosophy lives in Mudenahalli, and you have to come and see. So people are so excited. They all want to come and see. I know for sure that you will not disappoint them. When they meet you, they should meet a walking, talking, moving example of these teachings. That is your responsibility, from the one small kid in that corner to the oldest person in the institution, from the ordinary to the people in charge of things. Everybody should manifest this idea of oneness within and then service to all without. This should happen. That is how we can help the world. This is what we can help the bigger world. Because there are people who want to know, want to hear, want to understand this. And there are people who can transform so many more people. So this is the idea that we must manifest. That is the true tribute to our masters of the past, of the present, and that is the true tribute to our country. That is the motherland. That is also mother. Matrubhumi we call it, motherland. To this land we have an obligation, like we have obligation to our mothers on a Mother's Day. To this Vedamata, the knowledge itself is mother, it's called. To that knowledge which we have received from our motherland, we have an obligation. And to the Divine Mother, Daiva Mata, who has made us all manifest in whatever form we are. We have an obligation towards that mother too, not just the physical mother. We have obligations to so many mothers. And our obligation is to follow the essence of Sanatana Dharma, which is the idea that we are all one in that divinity, and therefore we must treat each other with love and respect, and we must help and be kind to each other. If just this much we follow, the world will be a much better place. No third world war, no fourth world war, no wars at all. Why world war? Not even family wars, not even husband-wife wars. Nothing will happen. Everything will be peaceful if we just learn this philosophy and practice it. So try to practice that. That is the most important thing you can do. As it was sung by Adi Shankaracharya also, he offered the tribute to his guru, who taught him this idea and made him walk this path. So also, if we want to offer a tribute to our guru, the only way is to practice the teachings. I have heard an umpteen number of times people speaking about the philosophy, and so loudly and boldly they will talk so vehemently, actually, from the podiums, that you always think that this is the next manifestation. But you go out and see what do they do with their lives? Nothing. Empty talks. Very good oratory. Very poor practice. Vivekananda said, an ounce of practice is worth more than 20 tons of preaching. So that practice is what I am looking for. I want everybody to practice this idea. And whenever you fall short of it, you see, there are times when your mind is not willing to listen to this idea. It's rebelling, it's revolting, it's resisting. Take a minute off, I say. Take that 1 minute meditation. Go to a quiet corner. Just by yourself. Close your eyes and meditate, contemplate on this thought again. Give yourself that a minute to recover from the onslaught of terrible, selfish and egoistic ideas. Allow yourself that minute to meditate. Then come back and participate again. And you will be a better person every time you do that. But most of us are so driven by our ego and our emotional attachment to what we want to do, that deep down the conscience is pricking. Wait, that 1 minute you have to take. No, I want to say it because I have decided to say it. I know it's wrong, but I will nevertheless say it. I want to do it because I've decided to do it. I'm emotional, I'll do it. Doesn't matter if I have to go and regret later. No, our mind just drags us. Don't give in to that. The only way is remember who you truly are, what is your truth, and follow that truth in your practice, daily life practice. That is the only solution to problems which are individual, problems which are within the family, problems which are in the community, problems that are in the country, and the problems that are there in the world. The only solution is remember who you are, remind yourself of who you are, and practice and behave accordingly. That's the only solution. Nothing else can save this world. This is the only thing that can save this world, and that is why I go around talking about this philosophy and also teaching them how to practice it through kindness, compassion, and service to one another. This is what prime ministers and presidents are sitting up and listening to. And they're so fascinated by whatever we say because we just don't say, we do it. This is the only way, and you are the future, you are the hope. If Adi Shankara had 4 disciples and he did what he did for the world with just 4 people and no communication, no technology, no transportation, he managed to do this for the world. I think with you all being with me and learning what you're learning and practicing what you're practicing, you are the only hope. If the world has to change, it has to change only because of your efforts and sacrifice. If you don't do it, it won't change. Just one Adi Shankaracharya cannot change. His disciples have to change the world. And so also being disciples of a guru, your utmost responsibility is to practice the teachings, not just talk about it, but practice it in your daily life. And whenever you're falling short of it, pray, pray, pray that please give me the strength, the buddhi, the sadbuddhi to practice it. Let me not be, swept away by my emotions and ego and all my attachments. Let me discriminate at that point in time. Use viveka, vairagya. And then go ahead and practice this. This is my message. Shamkaroti iti Shankaraha. The one who does good is Shankara, it says. No other. So Adi Shankaracharya has truly done Shankaram, Loka Shankaram. He has done good to the whole world. That's why he's Shankara. So each one of you is also Shankara or Shankari in your own way, provided you do good to the world. And if you do good to the world, rains will come, prosperity will come, peace will come, progress will come. All those were outcomes of our goodness. If we are good, all this will happen. If we are bad, nature also responds to that evil. And then it also does not give us what we need. We suffer more. So do good all the time. Kuru punya mahoratram smaranityam anityatam. Do good day and night and discriminate what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is not, and practice that. This is very important for me. That is what will change the world. So my blessings are there. Put your efforts, and as much efforts you put, that much of blessing you draw. So both are complementing each other. More efforts, more blessings. More blessings, then you put more efforts. That's how you make best use of this opportunity. May you all shine like this Shankara in the times to come. May you be the guiding light for the whole world. May you be the refuge for the whole world, where people will find peace, people will find a purpose. When they meet you, they talk to you, they work with you. May you become such Shankaras with these words of blessings to all of you, all the devotees, students, and all the wonderful devotees who have looked after us so well across these many countries. They've taken utmost care of our comforts of travel, stay, and organized so many events and programs. To all of them, lot of blessings.